Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this session. I really appreciate you coming along. So I'm here today, Christopher Brooks from Lexden CX, to talk to you about, give you an overview of our forthcoming customer experience management training program. And I'm here with Michael Brandt, who's going to be one of the trainers. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Christopher.
Thanks very much for joining me. And
My
Michael's
pleasure.
going to share his an overview on the day he's looking after, as well as give us some appreciation of what's in store for the course. So we won't be long, probably about 20 minutes or so. So if you can stay with us throughout, that would be absolutely amazing. And we'll tell you some more. So what I want to share first of all is why this course came about, and why we think it's hopefully a little bit different, more relevant for people. And then, as I say, I'll give you an appreciation. It's a 3-day course, and I'll give you an appreciation of one of the days that I'm looking after, and Michael will do the same as well. And then in the run up to this session, we've had a few questions floated our way, so we'll try and cover those off as well. So, why did we create this course? Well, we typically at Lexden are looking after customer-centric programs for organizations, which require individuals to be onboarded into the methodologies and understanding why customer centricity is a leading business practice. And as a consequence of which, we've developed many training formats. We have online video programs people can download. We have interactive workshops. And we also run onboarding training programs. And it was during one of these that we were asked if we provide these outside of the work we do with our clients. We never have in sort of 17 years. It's never been something we've done, but we took that away and were encouraged and thought, well, why not? So we've taken our the models and the processes and the practices we use, and we've reshaped them. So for a 3-day structure that's hopefully applicable to anyone who isn't actually engaging us in consultancy, but wants to accelerate customer-centric thinking and customer experience management within their organization. So as I say, it's a 3-day program. Day one is focusing on motivation and measurement, and Michael is leading this piece. He's a curator of the content and is also hosting that day. I look after day 2, which is on the methodology, and we go in deep dive into a customer-centric operating model. And then a couple of our colleagues will join us on day 3, and that's Eileen Machado, who heads up our Lexden lab, and Kerry Hodges, who associates with Lexden as a trainer, and they will look after day 3, which is focusing on the customer-centric mindset. So you kind of get day 1 is sort of, why should we do this? Day 2 is how do we do this? And day 3 is why do I believe this will work? And it kind of brings it to life across the 3 days. In terms of the training, Michael, I mean, we've structured it specifically around a small group. We said we're going to limit the numbers for maximum learning potential. You've obviously done training, in person, virtually all over the world, in a number of different roles. And when we talk about day 2, please do share with people kind of your background. But the format we've chosen, an in person, a small number of people. Give us your view on why you think that is the right format.
Well, I think, first of all, it's bringing people together from different industries, different backgrounds, so they can exchange views amongst themselves. It's not just a one-way street. It's just not me and the other instructors downloading data, but it's also a question of exchanging views, learning from the experiences that others have had in the real life, right? Because those are the lessons that are really important. The other thing about gathering people in a room is that it's more focused.
Sure.
There are no, if you're online video, there are distractions and things like that. And being in the same room together, I think will give us a more intensive learning experience.
Excellent. And just that point about being focused, what we've agreed to do is we want to make this really relevant. I mean, from our perspective, all of the content that we're going to be sharing has been practically applied with success. So these aren't theories, these are actual practices that organizations have taken on board, put into place in their operations, and accelerated customer centricity through. But we do know in our experience that it needs to be relevant to the sector you're working in. So with regards to, we're going to run a number of case studies as we go through the day. So you actually get the chance to apply what you learn to the case studies. And what we're going to do is make those case studies relevant to the attendees. So, if we have people from financial services, we know that we'll have financial services case studies there. We know we've got people from sectors like charity, so we'll have charity cases there. So there'll be variations so that you can make sure you can take the tools and techniques and apply them to the day. And I think that's a really important point. This is one of the key differences. The people who are going to be delivering the projects have actually been in the field and delivered programs. Either directly, I've worked leading a customer experience function within a utility company, as well as spending many years working in consultancy. And Michael will come on to it, and he's done exactly the same on it for a global company. So we've understood the trials and tribulations of actually getting things landed, and as a consequence of which, the way in which we've designed what we're going to be sharing with you is really in consideration of that, and that's really important. So I hope that gives you an overview of the reason why we think it's going to be different. And one of the considerations someone did say to us is, can you actually, is this going to have kind of a certification at the end of it? Well, we're going to certainly make an acknowledgement that you've joined the program, but actually, if you're studying towards any CPD hours, this qualifies. I mean, do you want to just expand on that, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for instance, if you're extending your CCXP, it would qualify. These 3 days would qualify to renew that. Definitely. I think the important thing to point out is that this isn't the course that's set up to prepare you for passing an exam. So it doesn't work to a CCXP syllabus or something like that. It's really about taking real life examples, showing what works in real life, and it's not sort of something that you would take purely to qualify to help qualify for CCXP, but it would certainly go towards renewing that CCXP.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, because if you kind of came to this thinking, I want to learn how to actually set up a VOC program, you will learn that. You'll learn exactly what you need to do in terms of getting a sponsor, getting support, setting it up. If you wanted to learn how do I ensure that we sustain customer centricity as a leading business practice, you'll learn that all the techniques. There's 8 or 9 different ways in which you can get that embedded in the organization. So as Michael says, you may not find something that meets an exam hypothetical syllabus, but actually this is real life stuff that we've kind of been and learned ourselves from. So let's get into the 3 days. I mentioned the structure of the 3 days. The day one is as importantly a focus on the motivation for doing customer centricity and also the measurement of it. So Michael, if I could get you to again just to introduce yourself in terms of your background in this space, and then give us an appreciation of what the day looks like.
Sure, absolutely. So I've had over 25 years experience in customer relations and customer experience. I was head of a customer experience, voice of customer and complaint management program for a large multinational engineering company. And I've been faced with all kinds of different experiences, setbacks and positive celebrations, and I've got the scars to show for it. So, and I hope to be able to transmit that experience so that some other people can avoid getting those scars like I did. So on day one, as Christopher said, we're going to be looking at customer centricity. We're going to be looking at motivation and measurement. So we're going to be looking at the first of the 3 M's. So the 3 M's are motivation, method, and mindset. And we're going to be looking at motivation. We're going to be looking at the importance of aligning this motivation with a business strategy and how to integrate it effectively within their organization. The alignment of motivation with the business strategy allows the CX practitioner to ensure that customer-centric actions are deeply rooted within the company's strategic goals, thereby sustaining the efforts to instill a customer-focused culture. So next, we're going to look at the benefit and limitations of CX. We're going to see what CX provides to you and what it doesn't. We'll see, what it really can do for an organization and what it can't do for an organization. And then finally, the really important thing is the measurement. We're going to see how you measure the impact of customer focus on both the customer and the organization itself. It's really important to measure the impact, because that's what execs want to see when they're looking at the impact of a program. They're going to be asking, okay, how does this impact the customer and what does it do for the organization? And we're going to be looking at ways to measure that and present that. So that, and of course, one of the really important things is that throughout the day, we'll be doing practical exercises based on real life cases, and that will help you to ensure that the moment you leave the training course, you'll be able to put these theories and what you've learned into practice from day one.
Excellent, thank you, Michael, and appreciate your experience in actually running voice of the customer programs, having to be accountable to the board to make sure that you get investment into the program. This, as you say, it's a lot of it is structured approach, but there's a lot of tips and techniques and learnings from just dealing with people and how you have to ensure that you fulfill their objectives and their goals in order to
Absolutely.
get customer centricity to progressing. So a lot of the kind of on the side of the desk conversation will be really, really helpful. And I know from our engagement, you've just got an abundance of that. So that's day one. And then we move into day two. So day two is my speciality, which is looking at the methodology. So we're going to be unpacking a 7-stage customer-centric operating model, which ensures the voice of the customer is actually recognized, respected, and used effectively within the organization to ensure that any changes that are designed and delivered are in service of the customer, but connecting back to what Michael was saying, also are in service of the business strategy and the goals of the organization. So we'll help you understand how to sort of align those two pieces. In each of the stages, we'll be unpacking it, and we'll be going into the details. So stage one is listening. So yes, we'll be explaining how to onboard and set up a listening program. We've had the experience of helping organizations such as international gaming organizations to do exactly that. So we'll bring our real life experience to help you appreciate it. But then there's the other areas such as prioritization. How do you make sure you demonstrate the value that can be achieved, the contribution that customer experience improvements will deliver? And we have a whole module on prioritization. We'll get into service design. In both service design and another module which is on evaluation, we will bring out customer journey mapping to help you understand how this is a business tool. It's an organizing tool to help us recognize where the opportunities are and to also help our colleagues design improved opportunities. And we're also going to be sharing with you some of the innovative solutions that we've had to develop over the years to meet certain client requirements. So we have a product that we've been using for many years now. Started with a hotel chain required it, and that's the customer experience game, where we bring colleagues together. We'll give you the format for it so you can take it away, but basically you get colleagues together and you play fixing customer experience improvements together, and then you find you get individuals who perhaps aren't typically involved in this area very informed and very engaged and come up with some great ideas. So along the structure, we go from listening, we have evaluating, prioritization, I've mentioned design, even through and connecting back up to measurement as well, and we'll show how that links back up to with what Michael is doing. And then also a really important point which often gets overlooked, and that's the closed loop. Now we're very used to dealing with perhaps closed loop on transactional issues that are going on, but on a strategic level, closed loop is really important. We'll demonstrate how you can get great value from this in making sure that you close the loop completely. So that is day two. Again, we'll be using case studies, as Michael said. We'll be getting you to interact with each part and develop your own solution as well, so you can get a real feel of kind of what it feels like to actually start to take some of the structure and apply it to some of the challenges you might have back in your organizations. When we finish day two, we'll be moving on to day three, which is mindset. And mindset day is broken into two parts. The first part is, how do you sustain customer centricity in the organization? And the way we kind of coin this is putting it on the people agenda. So we'll work through the many ways in which you can achieve this. Now, one of those is employee experience, the experience of your employees, often confused with employee engagement, which is needed to get colleagues involved in delivering customer-centric improvements. But we'll go through both parts of those, as well as many other ways in which we have identified you can move customer centricity and customer experience improvement from being tactical and project based to become a leading business practice alongside all the others that the organization focuses in on. So that's the first piece. And yes, it does have an emphasis towards HR. So if there are HR managers or directors out there, this is very helpful. But as a customer experience practitioner, you need to understand these areas because you will need to work with those individuals in your organization. And then we move on to the customer-centric mindset. And the customer-centric mindset is something that we've developed over probably the last 15 years. We've been interviewing CX leaders, we've been studying the world's best, and what we identified is that typically they have 7 behavioral traits which others don't have. And these stand them apart in terms of the way they think about customer experience and the way they think about their customers. So we'll be unpacking each one of those and allowing you to test and train yourself in these different areas. So things like curiosity, things like experimentation, things like empathy, which you would anticipate would be there probably, and collaboration. So all 7 of them will allow you to really explore them, and hopefully by the end of it get an appreciation of how this customer-centric mindset really enables you to deliver the day 2 methodology in a way that's really motivating for everyone else. And day 1 allows you to engage with senior leaders and demonstrate the value that's happening. So there's the 3 days unpacked. I hope that sort of made sense, and there's course material available if you'd like to see it written down as well. So I think I've covered everything, Michael. Does that sound about right?
I think you do. I think you have, yes.
Right, in that case, let's get on to some of these questions that we had sent forward then. So one was, will there be any takeaways, which I take by meaning sort of, whether it's a goodie bag or things you can take away from here. Well, yes, we have a number of kind of assessments that we deliver as an organization, which we can provide to you. So things like a curiosity test, collaboration test, just to see how you can improve your capability in those areas. So we'll give you the activities that relate to those different topics as well. We'll give you process documents that support how you deliver an operating model, for instance, and even things like the template for the CX game that we've been running for many, many years. So yes, you will get a number of different elements that you take away. We also have something called the Lexden Hub, where we have a whole suite of materials that we have produced which relate to each of these 3 days. So all of the content that we have available on it, you will receive as well to take away. In terms of takeaways, anything else people will get out of the days, Michael, we should reference?
No, I think you covered that really well, Christopher. I think, apart from the knowledge and the fruit of other people's experience that they're going to take away. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the point, isn't it? There'll be other people around the table with you who have different experiences to the same challenges you've had. And we organise something called the Customer Experience World Games. It's one of the things we've learnt in that is it's really interesting hearing, well, what challenges did you have when you were trying to get operations team to take on board the customer's voice? And it's the same challenge, but depending on your industry or even your geography, you end up with a different perspective. One which I think is probably the most important question, is lunch included? Well, yes, if you look at our backdrops, this is the gate in central London. It's in the city of London, and this is our venue. We made a quite a rigorous assessment of a number of different venues, wanted to find one that was just right for a small group. And yes, they do excellent food and refreshments throughout the course of the day. So this will be our base for the 3 days. Actually, if you see in Michael's one, hopefully the weather's good and we get our own balcony as well. So it should be a nice space.
And you can't learn on an empty stomach.
Absolutely, absolutely. Who is it meant for? Okay, that's a really good question. So we've designed this for the customer experience manager who recognizes they're getting traction in their organization, or even a senior manager. They're getting traction in the organization, but they probably need to formalize it a bit more. They've got the good intent, they're getting some quick wins and some noise being made, but actually it's probably a little unstructured. So therefore, the idea is to formalize customer centricity and customer experience management within the organization, and that's exactly what this is aimed to do. It's probably not exclusive to that individual, though, is it, Michael?
No, I think that also senior execs that might want to know what they have to do, right?
Yeah.
If they want to start off on that CCG, customer centric journey, what do they need to do? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we find working with organizations is that is so important, because years 2 and 3, you may well need to start to think about new headcount or moving roles around or new system capability. And as a senior leader, you don't want to start the journey unaware of what's coming down the road. You really want to be aware of what does this entail. So that's a good point. I think also probably, I mean, there's a lot of people in customer experience who are on the vendor side, providing advisory services. As you'll discover, people will discover in our mindset piece, there's one of the mindset traits is share everything in the spirit of progress. And it's what we do. So if there's others out there who want to learn how to become better at customer experience so they can provide it as a service to clients, doors are open. We're very happy to share what we know. It allows us then to ensure that the better practices that we're told we deliver are more widespread. Are there other courses? So yes, I mean, we're starting in London. It's June the 18th to June the 20th. It's a limited number of places. So I highly recommend, if you are interested, you come forward and you register your interest and secure a place. But we will be going to other locations as well. So later in the year, we'll be running a similar program in New York, in Madrid, and Mexico City. That's the intention. And then we have had some interest from areas that we won't be going to. So we will run a virtual program as well for those people who can't get to us in person. So it'll be a modified program, but it will be largely the same structure. And then how do I apply? So in the descriptions with this video, you should be able to see the link. You can get the course material, or you can go in and register your interest for some of the future courses, or you can go in and actually secure your place for this course. And gratefully, we have had people who have secured their place. So we know the places will go. We're not intending to do another one straight after this. We want to reflect on what the individuals who attend go back and achieve, and be really interested to see how they found value from it. But as I say, it is something that we really hope allows you to benefit from our, collective 50, 60 years worth of experience now in customer experience, working with organizations in over 20 countries, from kind of huge enterprises, international organizations, but also some domestic organizations as well. So hopefully there's an experience there that everyone will gain from. And anything else, Michael, to add?
No, I think that covers it well. I just look forward to seeing you all there.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, thank you, Michael, for giving us an appreciation of day one, and of course for curating and being the star trainer that you are. And as you say, yes, everyone who's watching, we really hope you do feel this gives you what you're looking for, and hope we see you there in London in June. Thank you ever so much. Take care.